This is the 2nd of June, 2023. We're at Vincent Corporation getting ready to press this material. Goes into the screw press you see here. The air cylinder pushes the discharge door shut, and here you see the screw feeding the material into the screened area, and you see a little bit of water coming out. We'll fill up the press and see what happens. Long and stringy. Seems to be feeding okay. Definitely. Motor's 3 horsepower. Gear reducer gets it down. Screw speed looks like it's around 20 RPM. We have the discharge cone shut. It operates off a air pressure regulator over here. What air pressure do you have? 20 psi.
And Bob, this started
VFD running the press.
This started soaking at 120 degrees.
Oh.
It's 104 right now. We left it outside in the sun.
Soaked for 2 hours?
Yeah, and this, the first stuff we did only dropped to 115.
Okay.
So
this was soaked at 120 Fahrenheit for 2 hours, and it was soaked down to 105 Fahrenheit. A lot of free water. More water coming out. Still not getting enough. We haven't filled the press, so there's no cake coming out yet. Oh, what is this material called?
this is just Spanish moss, I believe.
Spanish moss. Oh, my backyard. Okay, we're starting to see the discharge cone come open here. Tyler's still feeding more material in. Press cake. The first press cake out has just been conveyed from one end of the screen to the other, so it hadn't really been squeezed. Pretty soon we'll get material that's been packed in tight before it gets pushed out. You can see the rotating cone mechanism there, how the cone can go in and out at the same time as it turns. That strips the cake away. I take some of this cake, a little bit warm to the touch, and I can still get some water out between my fingers. That's early on. We'll see what happens after a little more fills up the press. Hang on a second. Tyler just opened the cone. You may have seen this door go open, or lever arm. And so now we're feeding out the material, trying to empty the press. Okay, this was the first sample we ran. What was this material?
I've forgotten the name, but I have it inside. It's moss also, just a different
moss.
one. Yeah.
And a 2-gallon pail. Had, what was it, 3.2 pounds, I think? Anyway. This material has the same bulk density as the previous sample. We have a 2-gallon pail, which is 0.3 cubic feet. The gross weight is 3.9 minus 0.7 for the bucket leaves 3.2 pounds for 0.3 cubic feet. In other words, a cubic foot weighs about 10 pounds compared to water at 62 pounds per cubic foot. Now I've got time for a little plant tour. Screw department where we weld out these screws. These are AR plate, abrasion resistant. It's going to be welded to stiffen up for abrasion resistance. We have a lot of screws in the screw department. Flighting. We buy the flighting and weld it onto the shafts. There's a screw that's been polished. I see one polished like that. It's probably something to do with food grade. And this is where we weld out. There's a stub shaft for a screw. There's a bigger one. And right next to it we got 4 inches and more flights. In the assembly department we got a nearly complete screw press, A smaller one that's looking good. Filter machine. A little 4-inch lab press going together. Well, we've got some bigger presses over here that are in various stages of assembly.